I lived in what you'd call your typical cabin in the woods. It was a half hour from town, give or take, and mainly just a comfortable, quiet place. It was so far out of the way that in the 8 years I'd lived there before this, I'd never seen or even heard anyone near my cabin. This day, I had basically nothing to do, and at some point in the morning, I went for a walk around my land. I knew it well enough to not need a trail or anything, so I was just hiking through the trees and enjoying the forest, when I stumbled on something that immediately was very odd. I was just 300 or 400 feet from the back of my cabin, and found the remnants of a campsite. A burnt-out pile of ashes from a campfire, and a flat area that looked like a tent had been set up on. From standing there in the middle of the campsite, I could see my cabin between all the trees. That's how close it was. So whoever this was, they couldn't possibly have thought they weren't on anyone's property. Sort of felt like they meant to be. I did some more walking, looking around for any more signs of someone being around there, but came up empty-handed. It was just that one spot. I don't know how I never noticed them. I think I just never thought to even look around the cabin, having spent so many years being alone out there. But the rest of the day I didn't see anything, and even at night I checked the windows and didn't see any clear signs of a campfire or anyone being around. The next few days were all normal. It was a Saturday night that I decided to drink for a bit on my back porch and enjoy the calm forest, when I saw an orange glow flickering in the trees. It was from the same spot as where I'd seen the campsite at, and from the light, I was 100% sure it was a campfire. I got up, and probably against my better judgment, started walking over there to confront them, or at least tell whoever was there that this was my property. I was gonna try to be nice about it, too. Maybe even let them finish camping the night just to not cause any inconvenience, and keep the whole interaction friendly. I really should have gotten a flashlight first though, because as I walked up, I could barely see anything aside from the warm glow of the campfire. And when I got to the campsite, it was empty. No one was there. Just a fire burning in the middle of the trees, and a tent right next to it. Someone had to have been here just minutes ago, which made me think this person probably was watching me and saw me walking over, leaving the campsite and hiding before I got there. I started looking around a little more frantically, but everything between the trees was full of shadows. If someone was out there, I couldn't see them at all. After a minute, it got way too tense and uneasy being out there, and I started to hurry back to my cabin. I wanted to get my phone and call the police. Even if the guy ran off, I figured maybe they could investigate a little and figure out who this guy was, and why he was out here. But I stopped right in the middle of the field between the woods and my cabin. My front door was wide open. The realization hit me that whoever was out here had entered my cabin while I was at the campsite. Knowing I'd been lured out or tricked and had nowhere to really go, I was horrified. I couldn't call the cops or hide in my cabin or run to get help. I just stood there in the middle of the field, stuck and unsure what the hell to do. I mean, there was nowhere to run. I needed either my phone or my car keys. I slowly crept closer to the cabin, and I noticed that all the lights in the cabin were turned off now, too. It was completely dark in there. I got right up to the front door and peered in, but didn't see any movement. "Who's in there?" I waited several seconds for any sounds, but heard nothing. So I took a couple steps in. My own heart beating felt like it was so loud, and every sense in my body was spiked up from the adrenaline. My car keys were closer than my phone was, right on the end table near the kitchen. I'm pretty sure I left my phone on the other side of the cabin in the bedroom, so I decided to just go for my car keys. After building up the courage, I quickly moved over to grab them. As I got up to the table, I saw something in the kitchen. A figure, hidden in the dark, shadowy corner of the kitchen, watching me. I bolted back toward the front door, hearing his heavy footsteps running up behind me. I slammed the door to buy me some time and hurried into my car. The man didn't let up at all, still sprinting at me as I turned the car on and started backing out. I had to do a 3-point turn, and he caught up just enough to grab one of the door handles and open it slightly before I pulled away. I made it out just milliseconds before he could get in. I drove all the way to the police station in town. The whole drive, all I could think about was how close that encounter was, and that man was still at my cabin. He could be doing anything, and there was nothing I could do to stop him. And obviously, that anxiety was with me during the whole time I waited at the police station for word back on the officers they sent to investigate. And I almost couldn't believe it when one of the officers reported back that the person had attempted to burn down my cabin. They found the fireplace raging, loaded with a mountain of wood that flooded into the whole living room. It's a miracle the floors or ceiling didn't catch, and the officers that were there were able to tame it enough to keep it at bay until the fire department could smother it. The only evidence left behind of the man was the ashes in his campsite. Everything else, including himself, was gone without trace. The whole thing was elevated to such a horrifying level, knowing he was trying to harm me, and had probably been stalking me for days, or weeks, watching my cabin from the woods. And I didn't have any idea who he was or why he was doing any of it. I didn't stay at my cabin for a single night after that, having movers pack and move everything to a new place far away from there. The crime investigation went on for months after that, but without new leads, it didn't ever come to much, and ultimately things fizzled out. I don't think I'll ever know what was planned for me, or how bad things really could have gotten out at that cabin.